Hello, I'm Laura Jenkins with the Associate General Contractors of Northwest Ohio, and we are talking this morning to Cal Beyer about mental health and how it relates to the construction industry. Good morning.
Good morning, Laura. I'm Cal Beyer. I work as the Vice President for Workforce Risk and Worker Wellbeing for a company called CSDZ. We're part of the Holmes-Murphy family of companies. I started this new job on March 16th. That was the day before the rest of the world went shelter in place and work at home. But during the pandemic, I've been working with associations, large employers, even labor unions to teach people about a caring culture in construction. I'm really excited to be with you today, Laura.
And we're talking because in the spring, our safety group launched an initiative called Too Tough to Talk, and that's how I got involved, was to put together a website, collateral. It was go time to get the word out to folks. And once COVID hit, even more important to discuss mental health and how it relates to all levels of an organization. And then I know we gathered together on LinkedIn and said, hey, you're the expert in the field. We want to communicate resources. We're certainly not the person someone's going to go to, meaning if you're truly on the edge and dark and very sad, you're not going to talk to one of our folks. You might, but then we're going to get you to an expert. And that's why we reached out to Cal as an expert and to kind of guide us through this journey to give the best information we can to our members.
Laura, in this regard, I give you credit for recognizing the risk, especially with COVID, that you didn't wait to do something. You and Greg Burkhart jumped in and your association took leadership. And that's what is necessary during times of crisis, to give employees confidence that people are caring about them and their well-being. And you made this about them and their families. You also made this about joint labor management. So how to teach contractors, safety professionals, and the union employees to take care of everybody. So I give you a lot of credit, and I really have admired what you and Greg have done, and now with the Construction Employers Association as well, AGC in the Northeast, joining forces with you rather than doing something competitive.
Yes.
So to me, that's been powerful.
Yeah, and for anybody who goes on the website, tootoughtotalk.com, it evolves every day. You know, every day we're adding new resources, downloads. Cleveland is currently working on the materials for their members, because not only do we want hey, it's okay to talk, we also need, I'm having a problem, or I know somebody who is, who should they talk to? You know, who's going to pay the bill? What insurance is best to take care of that? And I think part of our conversation today, this is a tough subject. So let's say I recognize someone who's been quiet. I know you'll elaborate on the warning signs. You don't want to do something wrong. So I know I don't want to feel, oh my gosh, I've seen someone, I know they're struggling, but if I say something wrong and something happens, it'll feel like my fault. Does that make sense? So,
It does.
I guess, what kind of advice would you give someone, on both sides of the equation here?
Yeah, I think there's anxiety because this has not been a topic we've talked about in the workplace historically. In some ways, it's been taboo. It's been one of those topics that was off limits. It was viewed as personal and family, and you don't bring it to work. We've made it a workplace topic. I'm a risk and safety management professional for 30 years. This is an area that I've focused on. It took a long time to get this woven into safety, health, and wellness. So here's what I would say. There's really no right or wrong way. It's letting people know you care about them. And so this is about building a caring culture at the company level, at the union level, if you're a non-union contractor within your company as well. And it's letting people know that you care about them and that help is available. And you're breaking down the barriers that have traditionally existed. So it starts with a respectful workplace. one that is free from harassment, discrimination. Our industry, and AGC in particular, has the culture of care, and it gives us an opportunity to really respect diversity, inclusion, and equity, those workforce development issues that are going to make construction an industry of choice. And this is really about diversity, inclusion, and equity. It's taking care of people. And here's what I would say: if you build that caring culture, it's a little bit like Field of Dreams. They will come, they will follow, and people will open up as we start to normalize the conversation around mental health and well-being. The hard part is when we talk about mental health, people think automatically we're talking about a psychiatric condition.
Right.
But it could just be normal stress, anxiety, tension, pressure. Could be that there's financial. Maybe there were unexpected medical bills. Maybe there was unexpected auto repair bill. That doesn't make you mentally ill. That makes you emotionally challenged, right? And so when we're respectful in the workplace, we give people the opportunity to be themselves, to share what's bugging them, what's eating at them. And we give them the opportunity to be a safe place for everybody, where we're not going to tease and bully, and we're not going to make fun of people. We've all been there, and we all have that stress, and we all bring it to the job site. So Laura, that's what's really important for people to know. This is helping people just adapt to daily struggles.
So at some level, there's a amount of stress that goes on, and then something else gets added, and then enter pandemic, uncertainty. Now we have election uncertainty. Now we have, if you're in the markets and you think you're retiring, things are going crazy. The time changed. There's just a lot. And we work a lot of hours. So it's one of those, some would say, okay, well just, go for a jog, go, hang out with your friends, decompress. It's kind of like dieting. We all know what to do, right? It's one of those, okay, I need to exercise more. I need to stop, eating fatty foods. I know what to do. It's a matter of choosing it. Well, this you can't always choose. If it's just coming at you like a freight train, it happens. Not every, we're all built different. So
Yeah. That was a really good list of some of the stressors that make this a risk. And I think what you're saying is life happens.
Yep.
And it's about adapting, and it's about coping, and it's becoming, the word that's used by the true expert for behavioral health and mental health is resilience. Resilience is just a fancy way of saying bouncing back from adversity. And it's really about overcoming challenges. We know we do that better together than we do alone. And so really build a strong support, really build friendships, connections at the job site, in your personal life, share with your family. Part of the challenge that we've had, Laura, is traditionally we didn't talk about our feelings in these tough guy and tough gal environments. And so there's no doubt life is more complicated, more complex than it has been before. But with good coping skills, doing those things that you identified, taking better care of ourselves, we can resist some of the problems. We can overcome those as well.
Yeah, in the past few days, we've learned of some folks, who have died by suicide, and for whatever reason, and that we'll never know. But of the family members, we've heard from, those were surprises, right? Those were just, wow, didn't expect that outcome. It was that the tipping point was there. Are there any stories you've heard, or we've also had some situations where one safety director was contacted by an employee, and she did put him in touch with a behavioral health consultant, and worked real hard, actually tried 3 or 4 different places, took a minute to get in. But in the meantime, if it's taken you a minute to get an appointment for whatever reason, the social distancing, all of that. So what you're suggesting, if we could just be more aware, I think a lot, I think we're all kind of right here right now, me, and you're kind of focused on, all right, how do I get
Yes.
through the day? When, all right, now how do we go to here? And kind of look around and go, oh, Jill's been a little salty the past few days. Now she's calling off, now she's coming in later. What's going on with her? But it's like,
Right.
I don't want to deal with that. I got enough of my own crap. So it's like, how do you, that's tough.
It's hard. I think what's made this challenging is we didn't always have support even at the company level. So we've spent a lot of time letting company leaders know, CEOs, HR directors, vice presidents of operations, safety, risk directors, chief financial officers, right? To let people know that there are risks and our industry is at high risk. And, we expect that to filter down. But where we see the most effect is at the peer-to-peer level. It was hard to start at the peer level if you didn't have support at the company. So we were teaching companies while we were trying to teach labor unions how to take care of people. So we were hoping that it would meet in the middle. And over time, where companies and labor work together, and there's messaging that's safe and there's support and resources are shared, people will start to seek help. And there's a difference between seeking help and accepting help. So what that person did that you shared, they were persistent, they were patient, and they stayed with that person. They let that person know, I'm not letting you go. I'm going to be here for you. I have your back. And that means a lot to our workers. So I just want people to know there's no magic, process here. This is about caring culture. It's about being your brothers and sisters keeper. It's about being a resource, knowing that it will come back to you and your family if you need it. And probably the best thing that you're going to do with Too Tough to Talk is empower people and educate people and equip them how to take care of people. And that's what's powerful. It will become like a movement among the workforce. It just takes time, unfortunately.
Definitely. We actually did billboards this week with Too Tough to Talk, and
Wow.
yeah, we've got access to some billboards, just trying to get some recognition that's why I think what was powerful that the committee came up with Too Tough to Talk. It's a great name to represent a tough subject.
Yeah.
So
I'm smiling on the billboards.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys have not had a shortage of ideas.
No.
And I've been really impressed with just how purposeful you've been and notice the support that you've received, right? And you've seen it grow. Mm-hmm. And so what you and Greg, Josh have done at AGC of Northwest Ohio is planted a lot of seeds, and they take some effort to grow.
Yep.
But you'll have a good harvest.
Yeah.
And you'll see it really reflected when employees share with you what they're seeing in their companies.
Definitely. Anything else you want to add?
I think
coming up,
people should have confidence that people want to talk about this. The younger generations are more open to it. There's almost an expectation that they want to hear about it. So obviously, I'm a boomer. I've got 5 children. I've grown as a father to share with my children. But I would say the workplace has changed, and more companies are embracing this as a safety and health topic. So if you're on the fence, if you're a little bit nervous, jump in, join the bandwagon. It's something as simple as a toolbox talk, right. The sharing of video. What the Too Tough to Talk campaign has done is provide resources, and it will grow over time. And so jump in where you're comfortable, but start. Right. And what I tell people, this isn't for every person, but find someone in your company then who would bring them to a meeting, share the website with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so for whatever reason, maybe you're a survivor of suicide, to you about it, and you still have sad feelings or you still are hurt. That's normal. On the other hand, let people know that this is something that can be talked about. So that's one really important thing.
Yeah.
And then I think, Laura, it's really important for this to become a peer program. And so we do need this woven in to our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to just share a few thoughts for people, because we will have peer leaders, we will have company leaders that are going to listen. But if we weave this into our culture, it truly could start with workforce development. We could get this into the apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. We could bake this into our employment process when we recruit employees, in our orientation and onboarding process. Share with them information about employee assistance programs or about the suicide prevention lifeline or crisis text line. We could share information as topics so they would see it from day one. It's about people. And then if you build it into our job and task specific training that we already do, most companies are doing a safety orientation. Build it into a safety huddle. Do it at toolbox talks, at divisional or company-wide safety meetings, pre-project or pre-season meetings. We do sometimes milestone meetings, topping out, etc. Have an opportunity to just make this a normal, regular safety conversation. Toolbox talks, safety stand downs, and let people know that resources are available. So some of the things that you have available now will be workplace posters. They reinforce. That's kind of the walk in the talk. It shows people this is the path our company is going and we feel comfortable about it. And so that's a whole lot of ways where we have opportunities to naturally talk to employees about safety. So the last thing I would say on this, I see all the safety gear behind you for Greg Burkhart's training center.
Yep.
I've been smiling, but we don't let people work from heights without fall protection.
Right.
We don't let them work around energized electrical gear without arc flash. We don't let them work in a confined space without respirators. We don't let them wear a respirator without a medical evaluation or a fit test. If someone is distracted at work, whether it is frustration, anxiety, stress, anger, loneliness, isolation, or impairment, we should step in and ask if they're okay. And we need to be comfortable taking safety timeouts so we can make certain that everyone's focused on working safely and going back home. But just as importantly, we need to get people back to work safe from home. So we have an opportunity to share with them the resources you're putting out for employees, the employee assistance program and those crisis hotlines.
Yeah, I love that from square one, right? Integrated with the training. It's just like distracted driving. You don't want them doing that. Well, you certainly don't want them on the scaffolding going, I really don't want to go home today. Ugh.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah, and you think back, even in my generation, seatbelt usage, probably when I was in high school was only at 70%. And every year we see an increase in compliance. And the younger generations embraced it. Now parents can't get in their car without children in the backseat. Mom, Dad, buckle up. And smoking is another very good example. There's many of those examples.
Yeah, so it's possible. This is possible we adapt, we change, and we view safety in different ways, and this is safety. And we have changed our literature up to watch using the words mental health. To your point, it's like, okay, I don't want someone to look at that and go, that's not me. I'm not, it's like,
right.
No, these are the words. It's too tough to talk. It's suicide prevention and construction. It says it all,
And overall, Laura, this is about well-being. Mm-hmm. It's marrying or merging physical safety with the emotional safety. It's looking at the causes of chronic pain, which led many workers in our industry, unfortunately, to medications
Yeah.
by doctors to make them get well that led possibly to an accidental addiction.
Right.
This is more than needing to do drug testing. This is about education, pointing people toward addiction recovery and treatment options. We have a long way to go. We have an industry that has a lot of musculoskeletal injuries, and a career can be hard on the body. We need to do warm-up exercise programs. We need to do micro breaks throughout the day so we stay limber. Proper nutrition, proper healthy snacks. It really is about safety, health, and wellness. You can't, like, one of the things that's hard for our workers is getting to see doctors. We leave early in the morning before those facilities are open. Frequently, with the overtime we work in 6 days a week, kind of minimum in many trades, we get home and the clinics are closing. So came up more popular during the pandemic. That's a hard part with. It's easier once you have a relationship, but maybe we need to bring health fairs to our workplace and do things like blood pressure checks. Because like there's so many of these options.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
just giving you a few.
Yeah, so that's a huge scope of opportunities. All right, I want to thank you for your
Yes.
time, unless you've got something else that we should
You know,
address.
Laura, we talk all the time, you, me, and Greg, and
Yeah.
now with what you and Kent and Courtney are doing along with Tim,
Right.
I'm excited about what you're doing. I just want to commend you and thank you for the partnership that we've
Oh,
built.
thank you.
And, don't hesitate to call if I can help out.
Thank you, Cal, as always, for all of this wonderful information that not only is inspiring, but relevant and useful. You know, so there's some people can give advice, and then some people get advice you actually use and you feel like you gain something. And from what I'm hoping people get from this video, and as well as future, is hope and a resource.
Laura, that's a powerful message. Suicide can be preventable, but only if we talk about it. And your message about hope needs help and recovery as well. And so that's really what Too Tough to Talk is doing. You're bringing resources to help people take care of others and to bring hope to tough situations. So my hat's off to you guys. I'll look forward to our next collaboration.